Hello, everyone. I'm Chatra, and welcome to another episode of Money Talks right here on Anfield Index. And I'm delighted to be joined by football finance expert Greg Cordell to take a deep dive into Liverpool Football Club's financial statements for the 2023-24 season. So, Greg, welcome. Welcome back to Money Talks.
I truly appreciate you having me back on.
No, I thought, when we have to take a deep dive into the accounts, who better than you to join us here? You've completely outdone me on this occasion. I've not even put out anything about the accounts as yet. I've had a horrendously difficult week in terms of work, so I just haven't had the chance to go into it. But you've put out a couple of threads really detailed in terms of the accounts and really delved into the detail extremely well. So we will plug that towards the end of the podcast, but we will make a start. Greg, obviously we saw some of the club's financial information shared a few weeks ago now, back in January through the Deloitte Football Money League, where they delved into the revenue detail in terms of a breakdown of commercial, match day, and broadcast sectors of the income. But we now have had the accounts published. They were published this week via the Companies House website in the UK. And now that you've had a chance to delve into the accounts, to start off with, Greg, what were you most surprised by?
Yeah, so excuse me. First, I was, just the Deloitte information in general beforehand. I was surprised with the revenue it grown the way it had, despite the lack of Champions League football, and then the wages had grown so much. And I know we'll circle around to that, but for new information, the other cash expenses, the non-wage cash expenses, jumping, I don't know around like 27%. And just, this has been a class of expenses that have been hitting clubs hard more broadly. But this was a really big jump, much more so than what we've seen maybe with peer clubs so far reporting this cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll kind of obviously delve into some of that during the show, but yeah, that was something that certainly caught my interest as well. Administrative expenses rising to a record high, and then even what the club's accounts label as cost of sales also increasing quite markedly as well, which is a bit of a murky area because the accounts don't really break that down in terms of, well, what constitutes a cost of sales. So we're
Yeah,
somewhat left to speculate.
yeah, it's funny. I actually, Kieran Maguire mentioned it in passing in his Price of Football book, and I just was doing some research and came across it in the past while I was prepping for release of these statements, and it's he has it as the cost of goods sold encompassing cost of merchandising and catering for Liverpool. So, the expenses are look to be linked, is in particular to the strong retail sale performance, retail revenue performance. The costs that are associated with that are likely the driver of that cost of goods sold component of the rise.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, in the past, that's the conclusion that I've arrived at as well, is that it largely relates to those areas around match day and commercial, because the club does produce a lot of its own merchandise outside of the current deal with Nike. So obviously that would incur costs, and similarly, not only with matches that the club hosts, but even with some of the other events that are hosted
Right.
off season as well. There'll be costs incurred with that too, and which will be reflected in the accounts. But that is what I class as cost of sales. But again, if there's any other things that are lumped into that category, we wouldn't know.
Yeah,
So,
it's
yeah.
and just for the benefit of the audience, that's not unusual for the lack of detail. It's kind of rare to get the segmentation we'd like to see. I think Manchester United provide more detail. Their disclosures tend to be a little bit more granular, being publicly listed, but it's just something that comes with the standard reporting that this is a little bit of a guessing game area on trying to attribute exactly what's driving this area that's just categorized in general as other operating expenses anyways. So yeah.
Absolutely, indeed. Right, so let's start to talk about turnover then. So the club, as I noted, did record a record level of income of 614 million for 23-24, despite the absence of Champions League revenue. So obviously the club competed in that season in the Europa League. Key to that growth was commercial revenue that broke through the £300 million mark, which came as somewhat of a surprise, I think, to both you and I, as well as to other observers. Um, what do you feel were the key drivers to that growth, and how does that fare compared to the other big six clubs in the Premier League?
Yeah, so my impression is the primary driver has been on the sponsorship side.
Mm.
We had the upsize to the Standard Chartered and Expedia, principal partner deals on the as main partner and sleeve partner, and on top of, and I think public reports had put those in the uh, incremental positive 15 million range, and then we had uh, four really blue chip secondary sponsors that signed on. I think it was Google Pixel, Peloton, UPS, and Orion Innovation. And these, to have four kind of strong blue chip names like that, I think that was a big boost for the revenue for that component this year. And then we got a little bit of a tidbit as well from the UEFA's European Club Finance and Investment Landscape report that just became available yesterday, that has a slide that shows the kit and merchandising revenue for the top clubs in Europe. And Liverpool was fourth, right along Manchester United, and that number was around 126 million, which was up about 10 or 11 million year over year. So it looks like that 36 million increase in commercial revenue was maybe a little bit more than two-thirds from the sponsorship side, and about upwards nearly a third from the strong merchandising growth.
Indeed. And having looked at the Tottenham Hotspur accounts, they host a number of non-football events at their new, well, not that new now, but Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and I think that they capture concerts as part of commercial revenue rather than match day. So Liverpool may have taken a similar tact with concerts that it hosts in the close season. Though I can't recall if they did host any concerts in summer 23 due to the Anfield Road and expansion works. So
Right.
yeah. But
That's my impression as well. I think it was a
mhm.
pause in June 2023, and then there were picked back up in June 2024.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So nonetheless, tremendous accomplishment for the commercial department at the club to break through that £300 million mark, which only a small handful of clubs worldwide have managed to achieve. And I mean, I didn't expect the club to break through that barrier until this season, if not next. So they've done really well to get there a year or two earlier. So sticking with income then, the club recorded a record high level of match day revenue. What surprised me, Greg, was the level of growth in this income stream, despite the expanded Anfield Road end only being open for part of the season. And I did note in the accounts that the line there match day about 8.6 million of compensation as part of the 101 million pounds that was received or classed as match day revenue. So that might have been some form of insurance claim where, because the stand didn't open on time, the club may have been able to make a claim. In fact, I'm looking at it now. Matchday turnover includes 8.6 million of compensatory proceeds for loss of matchday revenue. So that certainly appears to me to be some form of claim that the club was able to make. But nonetheless, again, that would seem to suggest that had the stand open on time and been open for the full season, then the club would have topped £101 million in revenue. So again, a very good achievement by the club on that front. So although that is great, how does that compare to its Big Six rivals in the Premier League, and what are your thoughts on the match day revenue being as high as it is for 23-24?
Yeah, so my thoughts are the same as yours, that I was a little surprised to see that number. I think my summer estimates were in the low 90s. I think I had it around 93 million. And yeah, for kind of going off of club data and also what we know from the Deloitte report, it puts Liverpool a little ways behind Arsenal and Manchester United, who both were in the 130s. I think it was one was around 137, one was around 131, and then Tottenham, who had a little bit of a drag on it from not participating in any European football at all during the period. I think they had just the 19 Premier League matches and stage at home, plus I think 2 domestic cup matches. So they were just, around 105. And then, so that was, it turned out to be kind of the top tier: Arsenal, Manchester United, mid-tier, Liverpool, Tottenham. And then in that 75 to 80 million range, Chelsea and Manchester City. And Chelsea have their challenges. There's always been for a while now, the discussions around what they can do to grow. A redevelopment looks really difficult, and they scrapped the new stadium plans a while back under Abramovich, and still no clarity under the new owner. So those two are kind of the lower end of the Big Six. And I think looking forward, with Liverpool having the full benefit of full capacity for this whole period and being back in the Champions League and higher demand, Tottenham are going to be higher. I think we're going to see for 2024-25 maybe even a little bit more of a two-tiered, with Liverpool and Tottenham kind of moving towards where Arsenal and Manchester United are.
Yeah, no, I quite agree. Yeah, it looks like one, possibly even two of the Big Six may miss out on European competition, and that will certainly dent their ability to optimize match day revenue, but certainly shouldn't be a concern for Liverpool next season. Pretty much, well, all but mathematically confirmed UEFA place already.
Alright, the Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share, and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts, and even Liverpool legends along the way. With the Great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to anfieldindex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at anfieldindexpro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.